This weekend ended up being a little bit busier than I anticipated, so I didn't have as much time to make content and stream for you guys, although I am still doing my Vermin League stream tomorrow. You guys will see that scheduled shortly, hopefully, when this goes live. But today I decided I'm going to kick back with this replay here from Mr. McNuggets, who's taking the Empire into the Vampire Counts, my favorite faction, fighting my least favorite faction, so hopefully this lives up to the hype. The build right off the bat's pretty solid. We've got 5 spearmen with shields for lots of kind of reliable, defensive, cheap infantry. Some crossbowmen as well, again, nice and cost-effective. It can be a little bit tricky to protect stationary ranged units at times against Vampire Counts, but we'll see. He does have plenty of mobility to protect also. Some Empire Knights and Royal Alt of Griffites as well. Of course, that means we're going to see some healing from a Jade Wizard. We've got Silver Bullets, some more Demi Halberds over here, and some more Empire Knights. 2 more of them. So, yeah, 4 Empire Knights in total, 2 Demigryph Knights Halberds is quite a bit of cavalry to help counteract what the Vampire Counts can bring for their build. Looks like we've got a Balefire Corpse Cart with a couple of Grave Guards, zombies up front, some Dire Pack, and bats up in the sky. Some more bats over here. Looks like 1 Black Knight, 2 Blood Knights, and a Blood Dragon Vampire Lord. So let's get things rolling here as the Blood Knights pull up here in the trees, facing off against the Demigryph Knights in the distance, trying to assess how they should approach, but they're going to get netted and shot here. Marker's throwing down that Hunter's Snare, and the Silver Bullets immediately going to open fire. Magical damage doesn't really make much of a difference. The Blood Knights do have missile block chance and missile resistance both, so they are going to mitigate some of that damage. Healing also being thrown in. 1 quick single cast Invocation of Nehek to heal them up a bit and kind of shrug off some of that damage. So yeah, I mean, the Hunter's Snare being a fairly limited resource, I'm not sure if that was 100% worth it. It was a pretty good amount of damage, but it was only on 1 unit, right? And so it's hard to say, really. But Black Knights are going to get things rolling here. Clash with the Empire Knights. Empire Knights should have a just fine time in that engagement. And then the Dire Pack here. Some nice feints here. The Demigryph Knights were the target of the charge. He realizes that and pulls them away, and then allows the Empire Knights and the Demigryph Knights to get the charge without getting charged by the Blood Knights. Very important. Blood Knights' massive charge bonus is a huge component of their power, so denying them that is quite powerful. We see another Blood Knight pile in with another Demi Halberd immediately behind them. Dire Pack rush in here and get a really good side charge from those Empire Knights. And just in general, it's a big old cavalry brawl. Blood Dragon is going to drop directly on the Silver Bullets and just try and take out that threat. The bats also dive on the crossbows and try and take them out. Bats don't have the most attack, though. The Empire Knights are able to countercharge in there with their high shock damage and start to get rid of some of those mobile attack units and secure the ranged lines, gun lines, and crossbows together. Let's see here. Demi Halberds, though, Royal Duck Griffites with the Helm of Discord active are taking massive damage here. This other Demi Halberd is faring much better. They're actually just seal clubbing this unit of Blood Knights. Again, this unit got very favorable engagement, was able to rear charge the Blood Knights, so I would expect them to win. The Empire Knights coming in to finish it off. A little Invocation of Nehek trying to hold it together, but those Blood Knights are forced into crumbling. Demis, though, take a lot of damage. Their HP and melee defense are relatively poor, so yeah, they are going to take a massive amount of damage there. One of them gets terrified away as well by the Blood Dragon. Royal of Griffites, of course, causing terror. Does mean they're also immune to terror. They also got a nice regrowth there to try and keep them on the battlefield. But yeah, definitely suffering pretty badly against superior numbers and unable to finish all the Blood Knights. If this 1 unit at the very least can be finished, that's a decent trade. Not ideal by any means, but yeah, Dire Pack also rushing in there. The Black Knights have largely been dealt with, but the Empire Knights starting to get ground down as well. Empire kind of pulling back a little bit here, getting their crossbowmen, gunners resecured. The spearmen have just been holding in the front line against the zombies and skeletons the whole time. Grave Guards also, so we'll highlight that when it becomes relevant. But for now, focusing on these mobile units, as that's where a lot of the value of this fight is. And the Dragon's going to dive in once more to the Silver Bullets, a little bit to its detriment. Kind of gets rear charged here by the Demis. The Bats are going to try and move in to help bail it out. Royal of Griffites also moving through there as well. So Yeah, the Blood Dragon getting pretty well surrounded. Is also going to open up a nice side charge, though, for the Blood Knights to come in here and get on those Empire Knights. Marcus really hasn't been able to use much of his ammunition at all so far, which is impacting his ability to generate value, certainly. He's been tied up in melee and has only generated 8 value, so I don't know if he's on fire at will or not, but there he just got a shot into the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord. That's going to generate some good value. Yeah, immediately just get some nice value. As much shots as he can put into this guy is going to be beneficial, but a massive Helm of Discord here just hits all these units. The vampires don't have a lot actually fighting right now to punish it. Blood Knights do charge in kind of towards the end of that effect, and it looks like the Demi Halberds are probably going to go down because of that, but credit to the Empire, they were able to kill all the bats and kind of mobile attack units. Now these crossbowmen and relatively safe. The gunners are pretty much gone, but yeah, these 2 units of crossbowmen being relatively cheap are kind of low priority targets for the vampires to a degree, and they're able to just shoot in here. And the Blood Knights don't have missile resistance while they're in melee. It is conditional on them being out of melee combat, so it is nice for the crossbows to be able to shoot into that fight and generate some extra value that way. It does look like silver bullets are actually on station. I take that back. They're here with at least a handful of their unit models, a little less than half. Marcus also able to start firing for a while, so this is a great opportunity for the Empire to try and get some value with their shooting units. Because right now they're definitely losing in melee, slowly but surely. Ooh, a really nice net for Marcus as well. Hits these units right as they were about to, get after silver bullets and start to shut down. Blood Dragon Vampire Lord also gets pinned in with the Royal Altar of Griffites. A few of them in contact, so they can do some extra damage there as well. But the crossbowmen, I love that they're just like not caring about the Balefire Corpse cart that's engaged in melee, just continuing to fight. This unit too, like getting attacked by zombies, does not care. Empire Knights kind of assisting in the front line against the Grave Guards. It's definitely going to be needed as most of the infantry for the Empire is starting to wane. We've still got a few swordsmen, spearmen scattered around, but oof. That's going to be a bloody engagement for the Empire Knights as they're forced into the Blood Knights there, who are also receiving some healing. Yeah, the Empire Knights suffering quite badly because of that, but a handful of Demis still online there. Looks like we're going to see a zombie summon on Marcus to interrupt his shooting. But the Royal Altar Griffites and the Demigryph Knights are fast enough to keep up. Earthblood does hit both of them. Some nice healing being done. The Royal Altar Griffites are actually just about heal capped. Not quite, but getting very, very close indeed. Also been able to do massive amounts of damage to the Blood Dragon. Still not enough to pay for themselves. Yeah, at least not the Royal Altar Griffites. Regular Demis actually have, which is just kind of the way things go sometimes. Not necessarily indicative of their overall power level, but just their performance in this specific game. Anyway, crossbowmen getting run down here by the Blood Knights. The Demigryphs, Royal Altdorfs try and stand and fight, but there's pretty superior power now with the Dragon and the Blood Knights all together. So it's wise of them to try and move away, especially while Helm of Discord is active. But now that that's dropped, they're going to move back in. A little Earthblood as well to heal them all back up. Also hits those crossbowmen for a little bit of bonus healing there. Spearmen moving in, having dealt with all the zombies in the front line. Grave Guards also here, surprisingly, maybe unsurprisingly, just getting ground down by superior numbers of state troops. Even though Grave Guards are quite good, they're one of the better mid-tier infantries in the game, probably, honestly. They still, will get punished by numbers. I don't know, maybe there was also superior charges from the Empire Knights helping out in that particular fight, but good to see the Grave Guard will not be prevailing in that frontline fight, at least in that instance. This other one is doing much better. Probably traded reasonably cost-effectively, but still meeting their demise. Let's see here. This unit, 199 kills, 600 value. I'd say that's pretty solid. Not quite enough on raw value, but given that it's kind of a defensive unit, often their role is just to hold and not necessarily to create a lot of value in and of themselves. But the units that have needed to create value here for the vampire counts have certainly been doing so. 3,000 damage value on that unit of Blood Knights that's still alive in the late game, 2,200 on the Blood Dragon himself. Yeah, the Royal Altar of Griffites finally being finished and probably shattered here. 1,500 on them at the end of the day. We didn't get to see the other one. It was over 2,000 though already last time I checked. Nice breath attack and charge into the crossbowmen will rout them off, so things are looking very dangerous for both sides, honestly. Balance of power is heavily against the vampire counts, but they could definitely get back in this with their capacity to heal, especially the Blood Dragon's able to heal himself in melee with the Hunger. That is going to be very beneficial as he kind of tries to hunt down these higher value single entity targets. Marcus, despite everything, Helm of Discord active, he's not going to do too well. I mean, the Blood Dragon is low enough on HP that Marcus could maybe win, all things being equal, but with the Helm of Discord kind of affecting things, it does impact, obviously, his ability to fight in melee. And the Knights are impacting his ability to try and kite and shoot right now. All of a sudden, this Graveguard turns around with Balefire, is able to rout off a few of these Empire infantry, and things turn around pretty quickly. Balance power is heavily in Empire's favor, but swings back towards close to even. Royal Altdorf Griffites are going to make one more glorious charge and die to a man. Just completely finished off by the Blood Knights there. And Marcus also, again, just getting bullied by the Blood Dragon, who is now at his healing cap. So can't heal anymore, which is good. A lot of the high-value targets, in fact, every remaining high-value target for the vampire counts is pretty much heal capped. I don't know that I would necessarily call the Balefire Corpse Cart high value, but it's definitely here. Got some zombies fighting there as well. The Vigor refresh could come in quite handy. Those zombies are still diminished. I guess these Empire infantry troops are as well, but oh, there's a summon zombie. Okay, so they're just gone. Another summon here to try and interrupt the crossbowmen as they shoot the Blood Dragon, but he's down now to only about 600 HP, so honestly, Marcus, RNG might kill him, but the best chance to win is just to sit and fight in melee, I would think, at this point. He got knocked quite far there, unfortunately doesn't get up fast enough to lose a shot for the dragon, then ping-pongs him off of a giant stone pillar, and is now going to move in for the kill, but Marcus whips out his sword. He's going to finally try and fight back here. See if he can get a couple of attack animations in. Oh yeah, he got one good hit. Blood Dragon's down to 88 HP. He gets a heal and slays the dragon in melee. Marcus showing he can get his hunting done with his sword just as well as his amber bow. Well, maybe not just as well, but you know what I mean. Now having to hold out against the Blood Knights, his back against the wall, the invisible wall of this stone circle. That is going to work well in his favor. He won't really get surrounded by those Blood Knights and beat down from all sides. So let's fast forward a little bit there. They're going to punt the Jade Wizard, charge the spears, and then come back in for Marcus. But with just the one remaining Blood Knight and some summoned zombies, I guess the Graveguard too is a little bit dangerous at this point, I suppose. They perhaps could get enough anti-infantry damage to maybe finish off Marcus, which would cause leadership issues for the Empire. But once the summoned zombie is gone, the leadership of the Blood Knights and the Graveguards just gives out. They just unfortunately succumb to army losses. So I don't know, if the Graveguards didn't have army losses, it's maybe possible they could have just tanked out that whole thing. I doubt it, but still, very, very close game. A big thanks to Mr. McNugget for sending that one in, and certainly warms my heart to see, number one, an awesome close game. Number two, Demigryph Knights performing reasonably well. I mean, the Royal Altdorf fights still didn't pay for themselves, but regardless, they generally are pretty cost-effective. Silver Bullets, of course, just a generally very strong choice. I love the pick of Crossbowmen also. 700 value on each of them is insanely cost-effective. And, of course, you got your state troops trading against hundreds of zombies in the front line. Quite good, like 170 kills, 134 here, 455 on values. Super cost-effective. For Curio here, or Kuro, I don't know. Yeah, the Blood Dragon, 3,200, 17,000 damage dealt. I mean, just insane. One Blood Knight actually gets crumped pretty hard, and that goes to show getting good engagements with the Demigryph Knights. You definitely can beat Blood Knights. It still feels a little bit bad, though, when you get bad engagements and get heavily outnumbered. You can get dragged down pretty easily, as this other Blood Knight shows. They can feast on value also. Bit of feast of famine in this matchup. Both the Graveguards go over 200 kills. Again, reasonably cost-effective. Basically do their role. What did not do its role, though, is a lot of these bats, unfortunately. I mean, two of them paid for themselves, but tactically they were unable to actually shut down the missile units of the Empire. And same thing, like these Black Knights didn't get any value and also weren't really used against any of the missile units. They were kind of just sacked into protecting against like Empire Knights and Demigryph Knights, which is potentially valid also, but still. ends up being that the Empire is able to win it out in a very close game there at the end. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.